Hello everyone, welcome to Monday. Yes, it's a brand new day and a brand new week here in Nigeria, Abuja. That's Nigeria's capital city. And it's the conversation into your West Television Network, your digital first Pan-African news network. And before we start, I started this introduction, Sagir, my co-host here, was already, getting so excited that it's a very bright and sunny day here in the capital city. And according to him, his clothes are going to dry. Well, my name is Adesuwa Osuyi.
And I am Sagir Ibrahim. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
All right. Good morning, Sagir.
Not greeting.
I know you don't
this
say
is not
anything
necessary.
to me.
This is not necessary. I mean, it's completely
I
unnecessary.
know you don't want to say anything.
Why will you say all of these things on air?
Because I'm just trying to let them know that it's a sunny day.
And I was excited.
You're excited that it's sunny.
Yeah, it's
right?
sunny.
That's what I'm trying to
tell them. But it's totally unnecessary for you to have said what I said, that my clothes are going to dry. Why?
Okay, I'm sorry, your clothes are not
Can
going
you
to
imagine?
dry.
What?
It's probably going to rain later and I'm going to be excited. So let's just be excited that your clothes are going to dry. Anyways, let's, kickstart the show proper with the quote of the day. It's a Monday morning motivation for you. And afterwards, we'll be getting on with stories from across Africa.
There are certain moments in the day when I need my me time to just unwind and indulge.
What is this?
The Cadbury goodness is in every pack of Cadbury 3-in-1 hot chocolate, making you feel cheerful and pleasant. Enjoy the Cadbury goodness.
Okay, let's get right into the stories, and we will be starting from here in Nigeria. So the former president of Nigeria, that's Goodluck Jonathan, and former president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, met late Thursday in Abuja to brainstorm on measures that could help foster peace and political stability in West Africa, and to make final preparation towards the planned West Africa Elders Forum. The West Africa Elders Forum is an initiative being promoted by President Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, using the experience of former leaders to intervene in crisis sport in the sub-region. What do you think about this initiative, actually?
So the question I want to ask is, the West Africa Elders Forum, what would they be doing particularly? What would they stand for? I mean, would they be giving just advice, or I don't understand?
Well, they said they're going to use their experience as past leaders, so what they've seen, what they learned, the mistakes they made, all of those things, to now foster peace and stability in the region. So this is what it was across all of Africa. I think that's why they call them elders, because they were there before, so they've seen it, they've done this, the mistakes they made, and they're going to put it further and maybe advise current leaders as to how to go about things so we can have peace and stability in West Africa. I think that's
well, I'm going to end this with this saying that you can only give a piece of advice, and when you're giving it, you drop it on the floor. And then it's left to the person who you're giving it to pick it up. And then when the person picks it up, it's still at his discretion to use that piece of advice or discard it. What I'm trying to say here is, there might be West African leaders or West African elders, as they call themselves. And if they are going to be acting only, in the form of giving advice to West African leaders and all of that, we know the system of government here in Africa. Africa as a whole, let's not even talk about West Africa. We know that we have leaders, and I dare to say, who are coconut-headed, who would, at the end of the day, do whatever it is that they want to do, instead of take advice from outside.
It's just the not sitting back and not doing anything. I think that's what they want to do. Look,
okay, so
we just do what we can do as former leaders.
Let's come back to Nigeria. We have a lot of pressure groups, youth groups, and the likes. We have the Northern Elders Forum, Coalition of Northern Groups. We have Ohaneze Ndigbo. We have Afenifere. We have a lot of pressure groups here in Nigeria who, to a very large extent, have been trying the best they could to see if they could sway the government to do certain things, whether in their favor or in the favor of Nigerians and democracy as a whole. But what have we seen over the years? We have just seen the government doing whatever it is they want to do at the end of the day, without even paying heed to all of these things that they are saying. I mean, the government will come and say, we are going to ensure, we will make sure, we promise to, a committee will be set up to do. And at the end of the day, what do we see? The government doing whatever it is that they want to do. I am not putting off this idea. I am not putting them down. It's great. It's important we have people who are past leaders who come with their wealth of experience as a group now, to say, we have been here, we have seen this, we've done this, we've lived the life you're living right now, and we are telling you, as a matter of fact, the way you're going is actually the wrong way or the right way, and this is how things are supposed to be, but then we'll deal this in.
Okay.
All right. Bandits attacked the palace in Adabka, Bakuyum local government area of Zamfara State by 12:30 a.m. on Saturday, kidnapping the district head, Alhaji Nafiu Shehu, alongside one of his housemates. According to a resident of the town who gave details of the attack, the bandits, who were on motorcycles, spent some hours in the village after kidnapping the district head.
All right, this is just becoming like a constant,
Yeah, it's been happening currently.
It's just, you know what scares me about this thing is having to get to the point where it doesn't move anyone anymore, because we've gotten so used to hearing stuff like this happen all the time. So you just hear it, it's like another day, or another one has happened, and then you just move on and go about your day as though nothing happened.
It's quite unfortunate, actually, and like I used to say, I pray it doesn't get to a point where we would hear that a governor was kidnapped. Perhaps this is when they would take the whole issue seriously, because I mean, we've already had a case of a kidnapped commissioner, the Commissioner of Information there in Niger State. We've heard of a first-class chief being kidnapped, and a whole lot of, other level of kidnapping, be it low or high profile. So I just hope it doesn't get to that point where it becomes a national disgrace. Sorry, I say again, an international disgrace before the Nigerian government and the Nigerian security forces takes this seriously.
I think, in as much as a lot of persons might disagree, I think they're working. I think they're doing it. It's just that it has gotten to the point where it just keeps happening. It doesn't mean that they're not doing so, they're not being proactive, or they're not doing so. Maybe they just need to change tactics. Or I don't know that. I think it was last week, was it on Friday, that the president is saying that he will not leave Nigeria a failed state. So he's going to do everything within his power to ensure that all of this, come to a close. And he was even talking about, new service chiefs and all of that. So I think it's just goes to say that we will do whatever it is we have to do to ensure that this does not keep happening, or it is reduced to the barest minimum. So, as much as we want to say, maybe when a governor is kidnapped is when they'll start taking it. I think they're taking it seriously.
Okay,
and they're just doing maybe not enough, but I think they're working.
So you see, a lot of Nigerians feel that the government is just paying lip service to all of what is happening, because you see all of this happen, and the government, to a large extent, according to these quarters, believe that the government have been taking a reactionary approach to all of these issues.
So they wait for it to happen.
Exactly. You wait for it to happen, and then you express shock. And after expressing shock, you say you're going to do whatever it is possible or necessary to ensure. And meanwhile, we have students from Zamfara, Niger State, and even Kaduna State who have been in captivity for close to 60, 70 days. I mean, thank God, just yesterday we heard that about 15 students, the Bethel Baptist School students who were kidnapped some 1 month ago or so, were released. That's good news, but then we've still got a whole lot of them who are still in captivity. So it's not enough for the government to say we are going to ensure, we're going to make sure, or whatever it is, whatever adjective they use to qualify how they feel and what they are going to do. That's not enough. They need to match their words with action. That is one. We need to have enabling laws, which will, because as a matter of fact, these so-called bandits are doing what they are doing and keep perpetrating their crimes and actions because they are actually not scared of the law. So until we have, a criminal justice system where, as a kidnapper or as a bandit, you go around abducting students and you're caught, and the law states clearly this is what is expected to be meted on you as punishment for the crimes you committed. For example, you will be hanged or sentenced to death if you should kidnap somebody. I think that way the bandits and all of these crimes that we've been hearing being perpetrated around the country would be controlled to the barest minimum. Okay,
moving away from that to the last story. And it says the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy has said it will soon deploy the 5G network in the country to boost connectivity and ensure the security and welfare of Nigerians in their utilization of services in the telecommunications sector. This was revealed by the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Pantami, in Abuja when he featured on Forum, a special news agency of Nigeria interview program.
Well, it's a good development, at least with the development of 5G technology here in Nigeria. I mean, it means better download speeds, better
internet
speeds,
connectivity
is going to become much more seamless, and then it means we are inching closer and closer to electronic transmission of results as well as electronic voting, if they will agree that we have 2G or 3G connectivity across the country.
Okay.
So, right. I mean, for us as a nation to have developed 5G, we didn't develop it. For us to start preparing, you know, for the deployment of 5G technology here in Nigeria, it simply means that, let's say, the very least, 2G technology should be available across the country.
Okay.
And if that is what the reality currently stands, it means that there's no excuse anymore.
Okay.
So we should be expecting electronic transmission of results, and nobody, even the National Assembly, should come and give a justification that the technology is not available across the country.
Okay, we just fold our hands and just watch how that plays out.
Of course.
All right, so you know we're going to be bringing you COVID-19 updates from across Africa right now, and after that we'll be looking at front pages of Nigerian newspapers today.
App is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking TOS TV Network mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live, watch out for the latest update on sports and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
My son has always dreamt of being in the spotlight. As his mother, it is my duty to help him live up to his dream. That's why I give him Born Vita every day, which contains iron, zinc, and vitamin C that supports his immunity and gives him the strength to pursue his dreams. Born Vita, strength to dream.
You're also watching the conversation on your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television, and you could be a part of the conversation by connecting with us on our various social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TOS TV Network. You could also watch the conversation via our website at www.tostvnetwork.com, as well as watch a recap of the conversation on our YouTube page at TOS TV Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It is the newspaper headline segment of the conversation, and this morning we will start with the Daily Sun newspaper. From the very top, we see FAAN in 140 billion naira financial mess, owes staff, pensioners, contractors, faces 60 pending litigation, unresolved concession, and that could be found on page 2. For the banner headline there, before that, we see NDLEA nabbs wanted drug dealer in church, seizes 2,504.8 kg of drugs in 5 states. That could be found on page 5. Now back to the banner headline. Grazing route, autumn blows hot, plans to sue Buhari. A writer there, group drags president, others to court over failure to investigate missing 106 billion naira in 149 MDAs. We see the picture of the day there where the former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, paying homage to the new Olu of Warri, Oba Chola Emiko Atuashe III in Warri yesterday. There are a couple of other headlines there on the Daily Sun newspaper. You can simply grab a copy to keep updated.
Okay, let's move over to the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. And the very first headline there says, PDP crisis, anxiety as Secondus rejects October deadline. Aircraft handling, federal government operators lose $28 million yearly. Taraba Fulani leaders hand over 11 kidnappers and gun runners to police. The banner headline on the Daily Trust newspaper says, doctors in mass exodus amidst NARD strike. 4 riders underneath that headline. Less than 40,000 doctors serving 200 million Nigerians. My facilities stripped of personnel. CMD cries out. Federal government should deploy emergency intervention. And that's from the NMA. Act fast, experts urge government and others. Quite a number of other headlines on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. To get a copy of the paper.
For the Blueprint newspaper, I'll start from the very top. Ban on forex sale to BDCs may drive inflation to 13.8% in August, and that's by Rewane. Stay off forex transactions, CBN warns microfinance banks. Bandits kidnaps Zamfara monarch, kills 24 in Kaduna, Katsina. Scores injured, houses torched. 15 Bethel students regain freedom. 63 to be released soon. Monarchs Clerics NHRC partner against Igbo caste system. For the banner headline on the Blueprint newspaper, just Muslims to Christians will protect churches in our domain. Ogun evacuates 80 stranded Unijust students. Lalong begs Akeredolu. ASU decries attacks on students, staffers, under the picture of the day there, which is of the son of the president, Yusuf Buhari's wedding, which happened over the weekend. ICT generated 1 trillion naira for Nigeria in 2 years, and that's by the Minister for Digital Economy, Issa Pantami. FCT police nab robbers, arms supplier rescue 3 hostages. Ghanaian firm to deliver medical supplies to Kaduna by drones. Daily Trust calls for nomination of African of the Year 2021. And finally, NALDA kickstarts Yobe Poultry Farm Estate with 30,000 birds.
Looking at the front page of the Nigerian News Direct, the very first headline says NDLEA seizes 2,504.8 kg of drugs in 5 states. Total forex market turnover rose by 23.52% to 5.14 trillion naira in July. Reverse judgments continue to pay your VAT FIRS. The banner headline is on ease of doing business, and it says state revenue agencies engage thugs for multiple levies collection. As ABP and members protest multiple taxes in Delta, government must exercise caution in overtaxing masses, and that's coming from experts. Underneath the picture of the day, CBN stakeholders brainstorm on improving egg production in Northwest. And the last headline on the Nigerian News Direct says Kano signs MOU with France, releases over 100 million naira for students' outstanding payments.
For the Business Day newspaper this morning, start with the banner headline. Nigeria wants businesses registered in hours, yet it takes months. Nigeria seeks 12.3 billion naira from IFC for local vaccine production. Michael Rayner to deliver keynote address at Business Day CEO Forum. Nigerian banks play cautious in promoting dollar investments. And that's it for the Business Day newspaper, and as well, that's it for the newspaper headline segment of the conversation this morning. We'll go on a quick break now, and when we return, we will be bringing you the big story.
gym. You won't go shake your body. Instead, they make you calm down. He the farm say he's happy. You want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you don't do pass your power. You want to show yourself, oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust to provide effective relief and is gentle on the stomach. Try Panadol Caplets for relief from headaches, body aches, and fever. With Panadol's Optizorb formula, the tablet gently breaks down in the stomach, quickly absorbs, and starts providing pain relief in 15 minutes. For fast and effective pain relief that you can trust, try Panadol Caplets. This has been Medifact for Panadol.
This is still the conversation on your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS TV. And like I always say, you can be part of the conversation by connecting with us on our various social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TOS Television. You could also watch the conversation via our website at www.tostvnetwork.com, as well as watch a recap of the conversation via our YouTube page at TOS TV Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It is a big story segment of the conversation, and this morning's focus is going to be on the Bethel abduction and the release of 15 students. Joining us this morning to discuss via telephone is a human rights activist, and her name is Deborah Yusuf. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Okay, so we heard the good news that 15 Bethel students were released, bringing the total number of released abducted students to about 56 so far, and 65 others are still in captivity. So what do you make of the batch of releases that we've been seeing over time?
I feel it's so sad that the government, the Nigerian states, Kaduna State government, have allowed the bandits and the kidnappers to gain so much territory that they are audacious enough to be releasing the students in badges, knowing that no action will be taken against them. Because I find it hard to comprehend that these students are released in badges until date. From the month of July till date, the security agencies, the military have not been able to trace them and apprehend them. It doesn't make sense. It only shows the lack of will from the Nigerian state, lack of will from the Kaduna State government and the security agencies to actually deploy forces and get these students released. There's no explanation to this, that okay, these students are being released badge by badge and you have not been able to trace these people. It's two things. It's only that you know where these kidnappers are, you know where these bandits are, and you have no interest whatsoever in trying to get the students released because they are not your children, or it doesn't concern you, it doesn't affect you as much. So you feel, oh well, let them pay the ransom, even though the governor will go at the end of the day and say, oh, he does not support the paying of ransoms. Okay, if you do not support the paying of ransoms for the releases of the students, what do you support? What are you doing? Nothing, absolutely nothing. And this only gives the bandits and the kidnappers more confidence in knowing that, okay, they can continue this act and nothing will be done against them. And in a economy that is plunging every single day, what do you tell youths that are striving to survive? You are trying to tell them that this is a viable business where they can make millions and millions of naira, and at the end of the day probably we will see an image on our screens saying, oh, forgive us Nigerians, we did not know what we're doing. That is absolutely insane. We are in a lawless nation as it is, because I don't see why these things should continue to happen without any repercussion. We are just encouraging more Nigerian youth to pick up ammunition and arms and go about in the streets kidnapping people, because they know that there is absolutely no consequence for that. And it's a shame.
Okay, so I want to ask this, because earlier Adiso and I were discussing the Nigeria's justice system, especially as it relates to the punishments that should be meted on those who are guilty of abduction, for example. So we say we've come to a realization that some of these people who abduct students, even when the Nigerian security forces at the end of the day apprehend these guys,
or they surrender,
we hardly hear, or they surrender, we hardly hear anything being done to them in terms of convictions, being sent to jail, or worst case scenario, them being sentenced to death, as a matter of fact. So where does all of this come to play? Because I think we've gotten to a situation where a lot of them do all of these things because they know they are going to get away with the crimes at the end of the day. So,
yes. Into the society.
So do you feel these crimes are being perpetrated because they know fully well that the justice system as it is not going to lay a harsh treatment on them as it's supposed to be?
Exactly, you said it already. They already know that they are in a state where nobody cares about the lives of each other. They are in a state whereby the leaders that we have elected to protect primarily our lives and property are so lackadaisical, and they lack any political will whatsoever to ensure the safety of their citizens. They are aware that, as far as I'm concerned, the justice system is almost non-existent, because I don't understand how we can have activists being imprisoned and then we'll have quote unquote repentant Boko Haram people going about with placards and saying that they should be forgiven. It does not make sense. This is not a sane country. And until Nigerians across the country realize that we have to do something, we have to demand that our leaders do the right thing, we have to demand that the justice system do the right thing, we are going to see more and more of these cases, and we will just be, every Nigerian will just be waiting for his or her turn until Nigeria happens to you, because that's basically, we are the third on most terrorized nations in the state. I don't know if that doesn't strike a chord, if that doesn't keep Nigerians awake at night, because for me it does. Every single day I wake up knowing that my life is not secured. As it is right now, the life of a bandit, a kidnapper, and a Boko Haram has more, how would I put it, more value, yeah, than the life of the obeying citizen, the life of the placard carrying citizen, the life of an ordinary activist. It does not make sense until we rise up more. Nigeria needs an uprising. Basically, we need that uprising for these leaders, so-called leaders, because they are not even worthy to be called leaders if they are not able to do the primary thing they were elected to do. Okay. So until we come to that point, we are going to be seeing repetitions of all these cases, and we'll just be murmuring, crying, grumbling every single day without anything being done.
Okay, let me take you back to Kaduna at this point. So you mentioned earlier that, the governor of Kaduna State, that's Arafat, said that he is not interested in paying ransom. Kaduna has gradually, become, I don't want to even say gradually, I think Kaduna at this point has become the headquarter, the epicenter of abductions and kidnappings. And we still have to battle, the Southern Kaduna killings and all of that. How would you say, in your opinion, that the Kaduna State actually got to this point, the point where it is at right now?
Well, it's sad to say that we have, I'm from Kaduna State, by the way, so it's sad to say that we have a governor that is not objective. And our governor seems to be more concerned about, which it's not entirely wrong about building roads and all of that. But if you want to look at it critically, you would find out that this governor appears to be unsympathetic he's not sympathetic to the killings happening in Southern Kaduna State. If you go back to look at all the interviews that he was on speaking about the Southern Kaduna killings, you'll find out that he has been giving excuses for these killings. He's saying, oh, they are reprisal killings, they are revenge killings, oh, the people. And as a leader, that is not you should not excuse the killing of any people whatsoever. So the governor of Kaduna State has done little to zero about the issues that are happening in Kaduna State. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, any government that has failed should humbly resign, or the people should call for the resignation of the leaders that have failed to do their primary duties. We're not even talking about secondary duties of the state, just primary duties. So in my opinion, the governor should be able to humbly step down because he has failed to do that which he has been elected to
but
do.
Deborah, we have seen. Deborah, can you hear me?
Things that he's doing, if at the end of the day there are no people to ply those roles.
Okay, but Deborah, at some point we've seen the deployment of security forces, be it police officers as mobile police, as well as even soldiers, to these areas in southern Kaduna. However, how would you rate the efforts of the government to ensure? Because I mean, despite the fact that we know that the government might be saying and giving a lot of promises to ensure that these students are returned. I mean, even the president had at one point or the other appealed to the bandits to return the students.
You're appealing to bandits.
Yes. So now, exactly, this is where the question is coming from. How would you assess the approach?
Or what do you think they should rather do? Because it seems as though, some persons will say they're actually
the approach is
doing
not
something,
yielding fruit. Yes,
but it might not go down well with regular persons. So what would you say they should rather do?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I feel that they know what to do. They know exactly what to do, because if I remember correctly, Governor Nasiru El-Rufai, during the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan administration, made a statement that if those Chibok girls are in one of the governors or the president's daughter, by now they will be released. He said, and I quote, that if every possible thing should be done. He said if ransoms are to be paid, ransom should be paid to get these people released. If whatever needs to be done should be done. And I frankly disagree that you would say that they've done everything, they've sent. There is a lack of will, because you can't tell me these students are released in badges and you guys don't have intelligence enough to know where those bandits and kidnappers are. It does not make sense. There is no sane country where these things happen. So we should question the people we have in authority, because clearly they have this intelligence and they just do not have any interest in seeing these people released or in quelling the insecurity issues in Kaduna State and across the nation. So that's frankly it. And as for people, as for them deploying a military and policemen, journalists have gone there. Reports have said that these people only come after the Fulani headsmen have gone or have killed the people. And then the people that are now, the Southern Kaduna people that are now trying to protect their lives, they now take them in and arrest them. They are defending themselves. You failed to come in when they were defending themselves.
All right.
After when they are defending themselves, you now come in and take them as the criminals. Where is this done? How do you expect to dispense justice in such situations? It doesn't happen that way. So yes, they deploy and send policemen and soldiers, but they don't send them on time. For whatsoever reason, I don't know, because they have reports and intelligence way before these people come and attack.
Apologies, Deborah.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I can see how passionate you are, about issues that are happening in Kaduna State. And like you, all of us, we do hope that, you know, something get done and we see a drastic reduction in number of abduction and killings in Kaduna State.
Thank you so
but
much.
Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation this morning.
Having me.
Yes, you're welcome. And thank you to our viewers for joining us and staying with us on the show this morning. Do not forget that we will be back here same time tomorrow. But as always, follow TOS TV Network across all social media platforms. Also, subscribe to TOS TV Network on YouTube and stream our content on www.tostvnetwork.com. My name is Adesuwa Osui.
And I am Sagir Ibrahim. Stay safe and we'll see you tomorrow.